All right, RV enthusiasts and renovators. This is my 1995 Jayco motorhome. It's on a Ford chassis and it's almost 20 years old. We don't want to buy a new one, so we decided to do some projects to bring it up to date and to make it more comfortable. The project we decided to do, me and my wife Chris, is to lay a vinyl floor in our motorhome. First thing we had to do was take up the old carpeting. That can be fun. Now, as you can see in my motorhome, we left the furniture and the cabinets intact. We didn't want to pull them out. We're not that enthusiastic about it, but we wanted to put in a nice floor. Now the problem we have with our carpet, and as with most carpets, you'll find different ones. You have to take up the staples, tear out the carpeting, and that can be a long process depending on how many staples you have in your carpeting. Now, we got ours up pretty easy. There weren't too many staples in the floor, but we do have a few problems. One, all our furniture sits, and our cabinets sit on top of the carpeting. Everything does. So we spent a lot of time cutting away that carpet and went through a lot of blades. And by the way, those are the blades that I used to do the trimming. And you'll also use them in the next project, laying down your floor. Also, we all encounter problems. Look at that against the far wall, where the two benches are. My dinner table goes there. All that wiring. Obviously, I'm going to have to encase that and make it look pretty. That could be a little project. And right here, behind the driver's seat, in the front cab, look at all them wires right behind the bench there. Now, that poses a problem. I'm also going to have to encase that in. And we also have decided not to do the front cab yet. Although, right at the beginning of the front cab, behind the driver and passenger seat, we will probably lay down some nice indoor-outdoor carpeting. But back to our project at hand. We decided to go with a vinyl flooring, a plank, and it's a floating floor. And as you can see, I've laid down the first few runs. But the product we use was called Allure. There it is right there. And the planks are 6 inches by 36 inches long. They go together quite easily. It's a stick-on process. And you got to make sure you butt them up and join your seams so that you get a nice look on your floor and it becomes seamless. Now, as you can see, I started here on our floor. The problem we had also, the second problem, we had two Commodore chairs. One right there which we couldn't take out. And we wanted to take out the Commodore chairs and put some type of bench and storage right there and allow us more room in the motorhome. But anyway, we didn't take that one out, we took the seat out. There was another one basically right here. 6 bolts on it. We could only get to 4 bolts in the undercarriage, maybe 3. I had to cut off 3 with a Sawzall. So that's one of the problems encountered, and all motorhomes are different. But the other problem we encountered was we had those 2 bolts and those 2 bolts. Those bolts could not come out. Obviously in a Jayco motorhome it wasn't meant to be refloored. Those hold up my propane tank underneath the carriage. So obviously I had to work around those and cut around those. And that was quite the project. But anyway, we're going to start out, this is actually the 3rd day of the project. And on the floor I also put a center line. My motorhome, unlike many, most are like 96 inches from wall to wall. Ours is only 93.5. The center line, I guess it'll help out actually when I get to it and I find out how even I am in my runs. But I ran it all the way through the motorhome, all the way to the back of the motorhome, and all the way up to my rear bed. Quite a bit of surface here to tile. But anyway, the product we're using is vinyl. It's fairly easy to cut. It's pretty thick, it's durable, it's water resistant. And there's some of the tools I'm using. Obviously a cutting board, my T-square. I got good blades, pliers, my tape measure, and obviously my little angle right there, which is really helpful when I go and cut the planks. But anyway, I'm going to be starting right here today. As you can see, I've cut around it, and that was a fun process. Now I'm going to have to come back, and you can see I'm probably going to have to use a little bit of trim there. But the beauty is you can always put in baseboard, and that will hide your imperfections, and that's what we'll do when we're done. Also, I used a couple of shims and made sure that my flooring started an 1/8 inch from the wall, or right about there. Contraction, expansion. But I'm not quite sure how much these old motorhomes contract and expand. But I did it anyway. And I started right here at the front of the cab. And it's also very important to stagger your planks. I'm working with 36-inch planks. So my staggering process was I started with a 36, I went to a 24, and then I went to a 12. Now I still have to go around this Commodore chair right here. This will be a fun cut today. That's what I'm starting with. But when you're done, it's always important to stagger your seams. It really builds on the floor itself, makes it stronger, more durable. And you don't want all your seams running in the same direction anyway. So that's where I'm at today, and I'm going to start right there, and I'll show you what happens in a little while. Oh, by the way, when you're doing the floor, hey, you're going to screw up. I screwed up a few times. Actually, third time was a charm, going around where that bolt is and then going around the Commodore chair right there. Third time was a charm. So make sure on the planks, when you cut them in that, measure 10 times and cut once. Not 3 and cut once. Measure 10 times and cut once. It makes the process a lot easier. Hey, gotta love that mess, huh? Oh well, most of those scraps I'll be able to use somewhere within the motorhome itself, so it really doesn't matter.